Man, this comic book sucks! And the reviews online said it was good! I wasted my money! Why didn't somebody tell me? Welcome back to the Spinner Rack. We have more reviews. Thank you to everybody for those great comments on the last ones we did. We hope we saved you some money, and we're here to save you a lot more. But as always, before I get ahead of myself, Petey, say hello to the people.
Hey everyone, we're back reviewing comics, and we got 3 new ones for you.
We were trying to give you guys a treat and actually do some video instead of audio, but it didn't happen. They kicked us out of the studio. They literally told us to get out. So because of that...
They'll pay for that. They will pay for that.
Yeah, so unfortunately, we're stuck here with audio. But don't worry, we're going to make the transition one of these days. We just don't know when. So, what are we doing? I know we have... Let's see. I know we're doing Daredevil.
We're doing The Walking Dead. And we're doing Superman, right?
All right, so let's, why don't we do, okay, so let's do oldest to youngest. So we'll start off with Superman.
What do you have to say about it?
Well, I haven't been happy with Tomasi on the book. It's very discordant with what's going on with Action Comics. Action Comics, for a Superman reader like myself, has been a very entertaining, fun read. I'm surprised at how much I'm enjoying Action Comics, because a lot of these, you know what I'm talking about. You have a guy like Peter David, and he gets on The Incredible Hulk, and the run that he has is this really great run. But most of the time when these guys come back, it's kind of like, okay, they came back, but it's, there's nothing there. It's a solid read, but it's not really that entertaining, or you really hope for some flashes of what they used to do. And Jurgens comes back, and I guess because they decimated Superman so badly over the last 5 years, he's just doing some really solid storytelling, and it's a lot of fun. New characters and new situations. But Tomasi is still stuck in this grief-stricken... I mean, he's one of these writers who writes grief-stricken characters. They have to have some sort of trauma placed on them, and then they have to go through the grief process. They have to go through, okay, I'm in denial, then I'm angry, now I'm going to barter, and there's acceptance. And he did that with, the Superboy character, John Kent, where, he has to, and he kills his pet cat, and then he gets all angry about it, and then finally gets the acceptance, his father said, yeah, I knew you did this, and I was just, waiting for you to, to talk about it. I'm like, this whole thing is just so off. But I also remember Tomasi was the writer on Batman and Robin, like the whole father-son thing between Batman and Robin. And that was a dysfunctional relationship if there ever was one. So I don't think he's really wired or set up to write something like this, which is really supposed to be, a functional relationship that has reciprocity between father and son. He can't do that. And so I'm reading these sorts of things, and it's really just a drag for me in terms of his approach to characterization.
I sort of looked at this, and I don't know if it's how the artists start, or they didn't really give me... I hadn't seen the issue before, but it just throws us into this, I guess it's the Eradicator in this new Superman, this rebirth story. Yeah. And it's just a complete mess. So I would just say... as far as, I mean, I like Patrick Gleason. I know his weaknesses as an artist, but he's a fun artist. But at the same time, it's like, oh, it's Eradicator. The Eradicator isn't like Superman or Aquaman and the Super Friends. Like, I need to know what's the difference with this Eradicator, or is it everything just put back in place now? So is this any difference, or I don't know what's going on with the Eradicator, but Eradicator's the problem. And then I never really was a fan of the Bibbo character. I guess it's supposed to be like Popeye in Superman's universe. I never really was a fan of that. But then he just pops up there for some reason in this bar, like just to use Bibbo, and then have Lois there. I don't know that Lois should continually be in the fights.
No, she shouldn't. And that's part of... Look, it's one thing if the fight comes to her, okay. And even then, there has to be a point where it's acceptable to get the mother, your wife, your girlfriend, to get them out of danger, and it's okay. It's not this nonsense about don't tell me what to do. This is a deadly situation. You really need to get out of here. You really need to get out of here at this point. It reminds me of that whole thing with Amazing Spider-Man 2 where he tells Gwen, stay here. And she's like, no, I can help you. And she ends up dead. Like, well, I guess you should have stayed here. When I looked at the whole... Well, one, with the situation with the Eradicator, is really strange because this is the second Eradicator in this whole universe, this new universe that they created. There was one that was introduced earlier on, and they never developed him. He was kind of just left. And now you see this Eradicator that looks much closer to, the Eradicator that was from the previous universe. And you really aren't told how he got here, why he's doing any of this. He killed Crypto last issue, and he's trying to suck John in to take out all the, human DNA and just leave the Kryptonian. I don't mind the Eradicator because he's a lot closer to the Eradicator that was introduced, where he was just a streamlined guy. Like, look, I'm about preserving Krypton, and if that means I gotta, literally, you Superman, if I gotta, beat the crap out of you, take over your mind so you do what's supposed to, that's what's going to happen. I just like them in terms of a villain. Then, of course, they watered him down, tried to make him some anti-hero, and then, of course, he's no longer viable. But here it's the same thing. You don't know. There's just too many questions when it comes to that whole mess with the New 52. Like, where is this? And, why is Bibbo here now? He was here all the time. Why didn't we see him before? It's not necessary to do any of these things either when they're trying to, give a little bit of the flavor that you had from the previous universe to, raise the comfort level, I guess, on some readers. But then, of course, it brings back the same thing. Why is this happening?
So do we have any good that we can talk about? I can say the good I have for this book is, I would say, some of Patrick Gleason's art. I don't think the storytelling is very clean, but I still sort of like it. And there's a alternate cover of Blue Beetle in there. I was like, oh yeah, Keith Giffen and Scott Collins, Blue Beetle. So that's not something, a reason to buy the book, but that's the only good I can see in it.
Overall, in terms of Tomasi's handling of the characters, I'm just not there. And then the whole idea of putting Lois and John inside of a hermetically sealed tube and I'm going to the moon with them is kind of dumb. You've got a fortress of, I understand you can't take them to the Fortress of Solitude, but I don't think you need to have both. It's just dumb. For me, it's just dumb. It puts them in even a worse situation because now you've got them localized and you've got them someplace where, okay, they can't even run if anything happens to that, that tubing that's put in there. I don't know. It's a disappointing book. I'm saying I don't know. I do know. The book is just disappointing overall, especially when there's so much good stuff happening over in Action Comics. But that's the trend they've been keeping up with since this whole New 52. The Action Comic book has been stronger than the Superman book. I think up until Scott Lobdell took over, and the Scott Lobdell run on Superman was actually stronger than the Action Comics run.
Yeah, so let's score it. What do you say?
This is a 2. And I'm a Superman fan. This is a 2.
I don't know. I gotta go 1 on this one. There was not much there for me, and it was too disjointed. It was like watching Man of Steel. It was that confusing to me.
Oh wow, that's pretty bad. They need to get Tomasi off, and you need to get someone. I would love to see a new writer, and by new, I don't mean someone who hasn't written Superman before, but somebody who's really hungry to get on some books and write some stories, because this guy is so formulaic with these, with the stories. He can't. He's been on Batman so long. I think this is a bit of a leap for him. Because the Batman characters, you can do the grief-stricken stuff. And then you come over here and no, this is not what's supposed to be happening. We're not supposed to see Crypto get killed. We're not supposed to see a cat get fried by Superboy. It's okay to tell a happier story. Even amidst all of this other stuff, you can still do something a bit happier than what you're doing at this point.
Yeah, no, I'm not sure. I never was too keen on the kid thing. And, I don't know. Then having Lois in there just compounds it, so he has someone else to talk to rather than just fight the villain. I can't deal with him dragging around Lois just so she can feel. I don't know. It's just weird. Doesn't make any sense to me.
All right, so I got a 2, and you gave it a
1. I gave it to 1.
Yeah, it's just disappointing. I hate when I don't think we've done a review yet where I've been able to really say good stuff about the book that we're reviewing, and especially with the Superman title. But hey. Nothing else you can do.
Thanks Spinnerag. You saved me money.